Welcome, everyone, to the Dragoon's Lair podcast. I am the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon, and with me once again is the family man himself, the incomparable James Haynes.
I'm out of the sphere again, folks. Hello, hello.
That's right. Now, let's be clear. We've got a packed show for you, really, because there's no other way of putting it, because we're going to be making our WrestleMania predictions. We're also going to be covering
the matches so far for WrestleMania.
Exactly, but we're going to be talking about the Avengers Doomsday cast announcements that have been made. We're also going to be talking about what, Jimmy? What movie? You're the one?
The Electric State.
Thank you, since you're the one that you made the suggestion for that one. And we are also going to be talking about the latest episodes of Daredevil Born Again, which at the time of recording this, there are only 2 episodes left. So 9 episodes for a season. I was a little thrown off because of the fact that I was not prepared for 1 week to drop 2 episodes.
I know,
that one was a little bit of a shock. But I want to make a quick anime recommendation because Devil May Cry did come out on Netflix. And I mentioned it in the last episode. And now you've watched almost all of it.
Almost all of it.
And I didn't have to even poke and prod on that one.
Nope.
But I watched the entire season.
Yeah.
And 8 episodes in. Highly worth it. I hope it does get a second season, even though we won't have Kevin Conroy for coming back to voice the vice president again. However, they did leave it off really well that we can have, because I actually had to look it up, and back in, I believe it was 2007 when they came out with Devil May Cry as an anime. Before that, it was actually done where it wasn't Johnny Young Bosch doing the voice of Dante at that point. It was a 12-episode anime that went really mostly straight to DVD. So this one is on Netflix, and this Devil May Cry, Johnny Young Bosch, amazing job, and it is amazing to hear Kevin Conroy in another performance since his passing.
Yes, amazing. Yes, fabulous.
Yeah, so
graphics, everything.
Now, I want to start us off with, let's talk about Daredevil Born Again.
Right.
Because
right ahead.
Daredevil Born Again has been absolutely amazing. Now, I do not know much about the character of Muse. I actually had to look it up after finding out what the character's name was for the villain that they've got so far. And with 2 episodes left, I've got a little bit of a feeling, and correct me if I'm wrong on my assumption, but I feel like they're setting up White Tiger's niece to take over the way that they had a female White Tiger in the Marvel's Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. So there has that little bit of a feeling there. However, I like what they're doing with Fisk going back and forth, trying to go against the vigilantes, but also getting his own vigilante cop task force.
Dirty cops.
Yeah, of course. And the way that these episodes have been going, it is absolutely impressive that they've kept a tone that's very similar to the Netflix style that they had, and that's now transferring over into the Disney World verse of Marvel, which I have to say, that's a really complex.
That was a big jump.
It's a hard jump to make, because Disney style is not the same as the grittiness of the Netflix series. But this, it really is capturing that feel of the Netflix drama along with the Disney elements of the Marvel Cinematic Universe being brought in. And I wish we got to see a little more of Karen, and we'll find out if Foggy's really dead or not. I'm assuming down the line, but we know it was renewed for a second season, and we know they're going to be bringing back the Defenders. And
they're also going to give Punisher a little special too.
Oh yeah, which Punisher should be coming back within these final 2 episodes. So there's a lot going on. What's been one of your highlights so far for Daredevil Born Again?
My highlights is that the St. Patrick's episode was amazing.
Of course.
That was really good. It's he's in the bank. And who's he with? But Miss Marvel's father herself.
Yep.
And I mean, to make a link up like that, that was kind of cute.
Which is really good because the younger Marvel heroes teaming up with someone who's one of the more established characters for street level, even though he didn't actually deal with Kamala Khan, he has gone and dealt with Spider-Man just as Spider-Man's lawyer.
And he's also been invited to Jersey City.
Of course. So, we never know what we could get. And we do know he did pop up and have a little fling with She-Hulk.
Yes.
Which I still don't understand the hate that show got.
You and me both. It was good. I mean, Titania was good. Yep. She was good. If you got it out of it of the Wrecking Crew, which was even Thor characters.
Yep.
And everything, you got it.
And she even made a joke about them going and using like Asgardian construction workers.
Yeah.
So there was a lot going on in there, and I honestly don't get the hate. Like,
no.
She-Hulk was a lot better than people want to give it credit for. This is where I gotta say, like, sometimes, the red pill content where men just hating on something because it's either because there's women involved or because of the fact that it's pretty much just, it's not something for them. It bothers them for some reason. And in all honesty, I was hard on Ms. Marvel at first, but I apologized for that one because of the fact that it wasn't for me, but it's more, I couldn't relate because of the background.
Yeah.
And also I'm not a teenage girl. But She-Hulk, not a woman, but I thought she came off as a complete and total badass. Tatiana Maslany did an amazing job as She-Hulk.
Very much.
And I honestly believe that she should be able to come back and we should get She-Hulk in one of the Marvel Cinematic movies because I actually feel like it's absolutely necessary.
Very, very much.
Now, one of the things that I've loved so far, I loved what they did with Muse being like that underground like villain and stuff that you didn't get to see. But I love the fact that Fisk going and holding captive the guy that his wife was sleeping with.
Yeah.
And then gives him a chance to fight to get out of there, handing him over an axe. It's like go, and he just wrecked him.
Not only wrecked him, he just almost nearly broke him in half.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something I got to hand Vincent D'Onofrio a lot of credit for. He's done this thing with Fisk where he put on all the weight for going and playing Fisk when he was on Netflix. This is more of a leaned out but muscular version of Fisk. And he's tempered, but you can still see like the bruiser elements to him of his knuckles having like the bruising and stuff, which it kind of mirrors Matt because you figure Daredevil has the bruises and everything on his hands. You gotta remember,
in the first season on Netflix, him and Matt went at it.
Oh yeah, but
he won. It was split, but the first round went to him because of the Kevlar suit.
Oh yeah,
of his Kevlar suit.
And that was the only thing that kept them safe.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely great to see what they've done so far. And I have to give them a lot of credit because when you go and you take a look at this, it's something that you don't expect. And that's the thing. I don't think we've been expecting something like this for quite a while.
I mean, I was looking at the trailer and everything. I had to refresh stuff. And then I seen the trailer. I was like, oh, I was right. Who Muse was. Because he had went to her book signing.
Oh, yeah.
Then he made the appointment, and then
they revealed it early on that he was going to be playing a part with that. So it's been interesting, to say the very least, of how they brought him in.
Yeah.
But now it's like, is he really gone? Because I know in the comics, they've brought him back. And this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So are characters going to come back? Are they not? It's hard to tell.
And the way that they said how he died and everything, because Mr. Daniel, Gandolfini's son there, who's doing a great job, they brought him in to do something and everything, keep that name up, tells BB, Daredevil didn't do that. And get that off your feet. He got a little bit into Fisk-esque, you could say.
Well, because you figure he's taken on so much of the Fisk fanboy element that it's been amazing.
And they got him in trouble a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Down at the pier.
Got him in trouble, but at the same time, definitely worth it. Yeah. Now, let's go over some of the WrestleMania stuff that's going on.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to... Now, I've got... it'll be up on the screen for the video version, so we're going to go through some of the matches, and let's start off with our opinions on some of the main events. And we'll start with Cody Rhodes, John Cena. Now,
which is night 2.
Night 2, we don't have a list. Actually, I thought night 2 is actually supposed to be the triple threat.
I wouldn't think they'd put it that way.
I think they might.
If they do, that'd be a blockbuster.
Well, you know what though?
What was it that JBL said about Seth Rollins coming in with that? This is a bank robbery and when he came in WrestleMania.
But at the same time, though, it's one of those things where I love both of these guys. I love Cody. I love John. John Cena saying he's going to ruin wrestling for everyone. And in all honesty, good luck giving it a try, because I've been a Cena fan since he came out with ruthless aggression.
Oh, yeah.
I've
given him a lot of respect. I gave him time to get a title and everything. I'm glad they groomed him and everything. He went, let me tell you, when they had all the problems with all these guys with the enhancements and everything, and Vince kept him away from because he was Vince's boy.
But we can't talk about
We can't talk about Bruno there, Mr. Vince. But can't talk about him. But he kept him under his wing and away from that crap. And he
the thing is, Cena didn't need it, though. No, Cena was already a machine when you saw him working out. And you saw the way, his work ethic alone in the gym was something that I respected more than anything.
His work ethic, his ethic in the ring, and everything.
And, they called him the workhorse for a reason. Yeah. And Cody's stepping up, but at the same time, I really want to see John walk away with number 17.
I wouldn't mind it and everything, but I'm
I need him to break Flair's record. He's tied it. I need him to break it.
Yeah. Because there's only one or two other people that would. One's already retired. He's about to get his ring. And the other is Randy Orton. And I don't think...
And Orton already said he's going to be looking for his 15th title.
Yeah.
So, that one's one. Now, placement on the card, I see it being night 1, if anything. It should be night 2's final.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we did see that the next match that we talk about, which would be Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, that was said it's going to close out WrestleMania. So if it's closing out WrestleMania, that would be night 2.
Yeah, I know, but they never said which date, though. But I like how Paul said that. And he goes, oh, by the way, that isn't the favor I'm asking. They were all like, oh, shit.
Now, and that's the thing, what I have pulled up is an image that has some of the card that we know of right now. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, unfortunately, because of that, we don't know the placement. We don't know which night.
No.
And, you can surmise which one might be. But this is going to be the first time that Royal Rumble winners are not going to be main eventing.
No.
They're not closing out a show.
Male Royal Rumble winners.
No, I don't even think the women, because
the only time a female Royal Rumble winner was a main event was the triple threat.
Yeah, but I don't think the next match that we're going to talk, Stratton versus Flair. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. That one's not going to be a headlining match.
It's going to be a show stealer.
It will be, because I got to give a lot of credit where credit's due. Mm-hmm. Stratton is absolutely amazing with her athleticism in the ring.
She's working this gimmick and everything.
The one thing I have to say is Charlotte Flair, in the promo that she cut a couple weeks ago, I have to say, she went and she pulled a Cena for what she did to Stratton. The same way Cena did it to A-Town Down. He went, told Austin Theory, doesn't matter. If you win, you beat a battered Cena who's a part-timer. You win, great. But if you lose, you got beat by a part-timer. Charlotte Flair basically went and is telling Stratton she's not ready to be champ. She shouldn't be champ. She's a placeholder. And not for nothing, Stratton's earning it, but she wasn't there just yet.
No.
And now we're getting to that point where Flair is good. But I think we're all tired of Flair because we can't tell, is Charlotte a heel? Is she a face? Like, are we supposed to be cheering her or are we supposed to be booing her?
Exactly.
When they want us to cheer for her, she comes off more that we're ready to boo. And it's one of those things where, like I said...
It's lopsided with her.
Yeah, so we're not 100% sure. But what's your prediction for that one?
That one, let me tell you something. I like Charlotte, but I wouldn't be too surprised if they let Tiffany Stratton hold that belt.
Yeah. Now we didn't make a prediction for the triple threat match. So who do you think Rollins, Reigns, and Punk?
It's either gonna. I'll tell you one thing. It's not gonna be, and I'd be shocked if it is Rollins. But I'm either going for Roman or Punk on this one. And it's not going to be no tribes helping them out or anything.
I've got a feeling that it might actually be Rollins. Rollins is being very underestimated for this because, yeah, it's personal, but at the same time, it's one of those things where Rollins is really feeling it. You can tell the emotion. He wants to take down Punk.
He wants to take down Roman, too.
But at the same time, Heyman is the connection between Punk and Reigns. So I don't know if he's willing to stick around with them because is he going to turn? Paul Heyman's going to be the key in this match. So I'm kind of thinking that there's going to be some distraction. It's going to be some confusion, and I think Rollins is taking it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Rollins, because there was a little sign when he came in one day on SmackDown that him and Drew gave a little glare. I wouldn't be too shocked if he even asked Drew for help.
Well, Drew's going to have his own matchup, it looks like. Yeah. So, but now let's talk about another triple threat match that should be making its announcement by the time that we are at WrestleMania.
I know, but basically it's the way... I know what you're saying. It's Bianca.
Yep.
It's Io Sky. And it's Rhea.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you this. The way she signed that contract, she did a Michaels.
Yeah.
If you look at she did a Michaels when Michaels faced Triple H and Benoit when Benoit won the title.
Another name we're not supposed to talk about.
I know. So, sorry, we're into the dark side of wrestling.
Yeah. But no, we're into guys who are actually good wrestlers, and unfortunately, history is not going to be kind to them.
No.
However, now, when it comes to this match, we just had the rematch for the title versus Io versus Rhea, and it was a double disqualification because Bianca being the ref. Mm-hmm. Bianca it was weird to tell where she fell in that because Bianca was calling it down the middle for the most part, but she was very hands-on, but she stepped back and let them fight when a few times it should have been a disqualification. So the thing is, Rhea has given such a performance, she can't be left out of this match.
No.
So there's no way this isn't going to become a triple threat match. But there is history between Bianca and Io, where Io did cash in and took the title from Bianca. But Bianca also has an undefeated record when it comes to WrestleMania so far. I don't see her having an undefeated streak like The Undertaker.
No.
But
I don't think Levesque's going to even let that happen again.
Or as close to it.
Yup.
But the thing is, I got to go with Rhea.
I agree.
Because there's some, Bianca's one that it's like, does she deserve the title? Yes. But all three of these women deserve a title. And that's the whole thing. Io's proven she's good. She has that athleticism. She can hold the talent.
She's been good in NXT. She's been good on Raw. She's been good on SmackDown. She's had the tag titles and everything. She's had everything. And almost, excuse me. Now you got the two new titles.
Which it almost feels like if Io went for one of them, it would be a downgrade, but I think it would also elevate either one of those titles. So for the women's Intercontinental or the women's United States championships, those would be elevated if it was held by a Bianca Belair, an Io Sky, or a Rhea Ripley. Even if Bayley took one.
Yeah, I think it looks like Bayley's going for the IC, but one thing you got to be careful with, if everybody's not now noticed, on NXT they're going to have for Stand and Deliver the ladder match for the women's North American title, since Stephanie Vaquer was asked to vacate it. Now, Roxanne tried to qualify, she's out. Why do I feel that Roxanne's coming to Mania to challenge Bayley to become the next?
I feel like they're going to hold off with Roxanne until after Mania, and then she'll start getting a push on the main roster.
Yeah.
Because she did come up, but she came up short when it came to going for the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
And remember one other thing, she holds the record for the longest in a Rumble now.
Yeah.
She's not even on the main roster.
Well, I think she was already pretty much promoted to the main roster, but they've
been bringing everybody
they bounce
up.
Back and forth.
Yeah, same thing with TNA. Now with TNA, with everybody.
So now we're both pulling Rhea. It looks like. Now let's take a look at Gunther versus the main event, Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I can't stand Gunther. He's talented as an in-ring performer, but he has no personality. He's old school, but at the same time, his personality is that of cardboard.
He's stale. He'll tell you how it is.
Yeah, but he's basically the Chuck E. Cheese pizza. It's not, you don't go there for the pizza, you go for the games. He's the guy that he's lucky he held the Intercontinental Championship as long as he did.
And that's the scariest amount of days that he held it for.
Oh, yeah, 666 days. Listen, love it. But at the same time, it's like that's a record that's going to be hard to beat. So he's gotten his flowers already. Mm-hmm. I think it's time for main event Jey Uso to step up and show everyone that he can carry it. And his Intercontinental Championship was cut too short, but I think that was more so he could go and take the world title.
Yeah. I mean, they basically gave him the Rumble on a silver platter, and he's been running with it since.
Oh, yeah. Now, the build-up's been terrible, but I also have to blame that it's also Gunther, because Gunther's a lackluster champion. If they would have kept that title on Damian Priest, would have been so much better. If they would have you could have put the title and left it on Drew McIntyre, and it would have been a better run. Gunther has not had the best or most impressive run as world champion.
I mean, you got to understand, Gunther's held belts,
but
they're trying to build him in America more.
But he's
past how many years now? What is he now here? 3 years?
Well, somewhat. Yeah. 3 years on the main roster.
3 years on the main roster, because remember, he came over from NXT UK, where he was the longest reigning champion. Well, you got to give it to him there is because he had it during COVID.
Yeah.
And everything, but he had.
Remember, that's the same thing you can say.
A smaller roster.
But you can also say the same thing for Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. He carried the title throughout a pandemic.
Yeah.
So the simple fact of the matter is, when it comes down to it, Gunther doesn't have the personality.
No.
He's not the guy that you want heralding the company.
It is.
But it.
In honesty, but.
Listen, I'll tell it like it is too, but should I be a champion?
I mean, he's the only big guy that's almost 300 pounds doing moves like he does from the top rope there.
Yeah, but you know what? He's not the guy that I want as champ. He's not the guy that I think can actually get people excited about a title match.
I think
he's not the exciting guy. And I don't want to use this as an example, but I will. Hogan, garbage human being. But when it came to being the main eventer,
Yeah.
You wanted to see him.
Yeah.
He was a draw. Gunther is not a draw. He is not the guy that you put him on the marquee and it's like, oh, I want to go see that show. No, Cody Rhodes is a guy, you put his name on the marquee, you want to see that show.
Yeah.
You put John Cena on the marquee, you want to see that show.
You want to see The Rock, you see him. Yeah.
You put Roman Reigns up there, people still would rather see Roman Reigns.
Even Lesnar, and I'll say it.
Yeah, but Gunther does not have the personality for this. I think that if they put the belt on main event Jey Uso, and I will call him main event Jey Uso because he deserves that moniker.
Yay.
Exactly. Now,
but I'll also say this, I think they also gave it to him is because they screwed Gunther over. Remember, like I just said, NXT UK. They were supposed to do a whole Europe.
Yeah, but you know,
that got
listen,
shelved.
Things happened.
Yep.
The regimes have changed.
Yeah.
The shows have come and gone, but Gunther still had the longest Intercontinental Championship.
Yep.
And there have been some guys who never held the main title, but they've been Intercontinental Champion. Mm-hmm. And their legacy is solid.
Yeah, exactly.
And his legacy there is already cemented.
That had a great legacy that didn't even get a title that a Hall of Fame is.
Yeah, but Gunther, 666 days as Intercontinental Champion is nothing to scoff at.
No.
He's just not the guy that is, his personality isn't there to really make me say marquee player. And that's an opinion. You know, if the company sees him as a marquee guy, that's they're putting their faith in him. I don't see it.
No.
But then again, that's their decision. But Jey Uso is a guy that is getting everyone excited. But the problem is, it's the build up to this match, which is why it's not going to be main eventing on either night.
No.
Now, let's talk about a revenge match. You know exactly where I'm going with this one. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. And I want to see Randy win this one, but not just win it.
Punt.
Punt heard around the world.
Punt.
Yep.
Kick is good.
After the package.
Especially where they are in Allegiant Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Put up the goalpost for him.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you really want to see it.
Listen, the last time I seen a head fly was Enzo getting his head taken off by Brock Lesnar when he came in the ring.
Yeah.
This is going to be a hell of a lot better than that.
Yeah, and there's history there. There's a backstory. This story has
build up is better than even half.
And that's the thing, though. But the build up for Orton versus Owens is better than Jey Uso versus Gunther. And it's sad that that's a build-up that's not there.
The only other better build, listen, the triple threat Roman and Punk and Rollins and that are gonna steal the show. Besides the Stratton match, I'll tell you that.
Well, I don't know if the Stratton match is gonna steal the show, but I will say I have high hopes that it's gonna be an impressive match. Now, let's go and take a look. As mentioned, both of these guys as world champions. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre.
That's going to be a tough, good match.
It's going to be a tough, solid match.
And this has been a year in the making if you look at it.
Oh, yeah. Since last year's WrestleMania, where McIntyre won and then was cashed in on and lost that title to Priest, all because McIntyre couldn't stop going and rubbing it into Punk's face. 5 minutes. It was about 5 minutes as a title reign.
38 seconds.
Yeah. But when I look at this match, I'm excited, but the only one that I want to see walk out of that match as the winner is Priest.
I agree. I like Priest and everything. They're both going to give you a match.
Yeah.
The both of them are going to give you a match that you're going to be like, and as long as he doesn't trip over the rope going over and doing his high-flying moves.
Hey, listen,
he'll be good. That was crazy.
He tripped up, got tied up in the ropes, and still put on a good match.
Yeah.
The only issue was he was probably knocked out, and the way that match went, which I can't even blame him because things happen. But I think between him and McIntyre, not only is this going to be a match that people will talk about for a good long time, this is going to be a match that I want to see Priest walk away with. I want to see the Street King himself walk out of there and having finally put an end to the whining of Drew McIntyre.
Exactly.
Even though I gotta say I've loved everything Drew's been doing.
Oh, true. Forget about it.
Now, on the card that we have so far, now the last match that we're going to discuss is unfortunately AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. And I say unfortunately not for AJ Styles, but because Logan Paul's even in this match. Logan Paul, I'm upset with...
speaking of part-timers.
Yeah, I'm upset with HBO.
Max?
How dare they give the Paul brothers a show?
You've watched it?
No.
Me neither.
I saw I was looking to see if there's a way to downvote it, to get like HBO Max. Max isn't giving you it's not giving you a thumbs up or thumbs down the way that Netflix does. It's not giving you like an up or down that you can get on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Or even Freevee.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I want less of the Paul brothers. I don't want to see them on my screen. And I'm sorry that I have to say this, but I will walk away during WrestleMania while they're showing AJ Styles versus Paul. And it's not because of AJ Styles.
No.
AJ has done a phenomenal job, and yes, pun intended, because he is the phenomenal one. Mm-hmm. He can put on a great match with a mannequin. However, he's in a match with a guy who's a complete and total tool. I'm
not a fan. I have not been a fan of both of the brothers, especially the scam artist that his brother is.
Oh, they're both con artists. I'm sorry, but getting kids addicted to an energy drink.
Well, you can get it at the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, which is absolutely...
That's been downgraded.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible that we have to go and deal with that. Because as far as I'm concerned, no, this is a fucking joke. And I have to say it because it's literally ruining the actual integrity of WrestleMania by giving Paul another WrestleMania match. And I don't understand it. I get it for the fact that, yeah, kids like him. I don't know why kids like him. He's not for kids.
Can we find the kids that like him and give him life cereal?
No, because unfortunately...
It'll be a lot better.
Yeah, but that's the problem. We have an issue when it comes to this of, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Completely turn your back on a Logan Paul match. Stop giving him any kind of attention whatsoever. The crowds need to go silent and we can get rid of them. Because indifference is the thing that they don't want. They want you to cheer or they want you to boo. If you pay him no mind, he goes away.
Exactly.
And that's what we need. We need people to band together when it comes to the Paul brothers and ignore them like the plague. I will never watch a reality show about the Paul brothers. Their persona online, they could very well be some extremely nice people. They really could. But everything that they show to the general public basically tells me you're a douche. And I have no love for either one of them. I don't like what they did with Tyson. Disrespected an entire legacy.
And you got him suspended.
And he got himself suspended along with Taylor and Serrano. So all of them got suspended. Why? Because it was a rigged card. And
pissed a lot of people off.
Oh, it pissed off so many people. And we know it was a rigged card because here's the thing. We saw Tyson's training. Tyson could have laid him out within the first round if he would have been able to fully go out.
I don't know what was even crazier. That or when Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield were trying to do commentary.
Oh God, no.
No, that was the better comedy act.
Yeah, but it was still bad. It really was. Now
they abused having Mauro Ranallo there.
Yeah. Now I do have to say that.
But now before that, now you know the Hall of Fame is that weekend.
Yes.
Now you know that the first person that they made an executive decision to was Triple H, right?
Yep.
Wrong.
That's the first announcement that they made.
Guess what?
What?
It wasn't the first announcement.
Really?
Last year at WrestleMania in Philly, an announcement was made, but it was never shown until about 2 weeks ago. Who was it? The natural disasters. John Tenter's family was at the Hall of Fame, and they were in the back. Paul Levesque pulled them to the side and says, "We'd like to put your father in for the Hall of Fame." So then all they had to do was wait for Fred Ottman, a.k.a. Tugboat, and Typhoon. And
listen,
I'm glad they got them in.
Listen, we'll see what happens with that one. The Hall of Fame is not going to be right after SmackDown the way it normally has been. So,
Did you notice what else is going on the same time as night one of WrestleMania?
Nope.
Night with the Taker.
Oh, yeah. He does his one-man, dead-man shows. Like, that's not an issue.
But the funny thing, but usually they could have had it on that Thursday or the Friday before, at least the Friday before SmackDown, or had it in between. But no, they're having it the same time.
Yeah, and
they overscheduled everything.
They overscheduled, but also, guess what? You got to realize, too, there's also one other issue. If you can't afford to get tickets to go to see WrestleMania, why not get tickets to go see the Dead Man's one-man show?
I know. His is at least 3/4 less.
I know, right? Now, I just want to make this clear to everybody. We've made our predictions for the WrestleMania card so far.
Please, no wagering.
However, if you'd like to tell us your predictions for the WrestleMania card,
what's that email address?
You can email us at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. Now,
speaking of Dragoon's Lair, would you like to make a great announcement to our lovely viewers and listeners?
Absolutely. Now, there's been some confusion because the Dragoon's Lair podcast, the Instagram page, has been a little dormant lately. So
sorry.
We apologize to everyone for that. But just for clarification, there is another Dragoon's Lair podcast page up on Instagram, and that's Dragoon's Lair Official.
Yes.
That is an official page. I am the one running that page to make sure that I can put out all of our Instagram reels so that this way there's more content out there. So please follow us on Dragoon's Lair Official on Instagram, because we don't know how long TikTok may even be around, because at the time of recording this, on Saturday, the 5th of April, TikTok had a chance to go dark, but there was also a chance that it could be saved. And unfortunately, any deal that was going to go through actually got shit canned, all because some dumb orange fuck decided to put in tariffs against China and over-tariffed, so they put the kibosh on the plan. So, yep. And as I try not to get political, I can still get upset that we have an incompetent schmuck.
Anybody else need any good comedy relief for anything that Dan said? Please watch Jimmy Kimmel on YouTube, because you'll get a lot out of him, and Stephen Colbert.
Yep.
Because we like the fun, not our actions.
Yeah, and frankly, TikTok is still going to be around. I believe they're going to be doing another 75-day extension, which we don't know if that'll have some legal challenges, but we're still going to be on TikTok putting out our shorts and everything. They will be there, because I will be there till the doors close.
Same here.
So, and you can make sure you can find me, Blue Dragoon 13, on TikTok, Instagram, the whole spiel. We're going to get to that later.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah. But no. So now I want to talk about the movie The Electric State.
Absolutely.
Now, Jimmy, I want you to take this one because you made the recommendation for this. Absolutely. I did watch it, and I enjoyed it. I can't say it was the best movie, but it was interesting.
It's an interesting movie because you see the sci-fi-esque plot of this story, and you figure it's taking place in the future. Wrong. It takes place in 1991. Starts. And our story takes us where a family is basically separated because somebody is the chosen one. And thanks to Millie Bobby Brown, and she did very good with this, her performance.
Oh, absolutely.
As the sister trying to find her brother.
Millie Bobby Brown is actually an underrated actress.
I agree.
She's done some amazing stuff, and I feel like people still want her just as the Stranger Things character. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, she's expanded out and done other characters, and she's getting better and better with each role that she's taking. So I got to give her a lot of credit.
All right. Listen, I totally agree on that, and it's nice. And mind you, this is also a Russo brothers production.
Yep. So, you know,
we'll get to their other production in a little bit. But
yes.
Not now.
Now, but one interesting thing about the Electric State and the Russo brothers is there is a Marvel tie-in again because
Giancarlo Esposito and Chris Pratt, plus many lovely voices such as Anthony Mackie.
Yep. There's a lot of voice actors that are in this, or actors doing voices, because this is an alternate timeline taking place in the 90s of, we have a robot civil uprising. You know, I feel like we're almost there as it is.
Yeah.
You know, with the Amazon robots basically taking jobs and stuff, you know, with the rise of AI. So this is very prevalent when it comes to looking at things from this movie, because there's certain commentary that can be made from this, including the fact that we had robots becoming sentient and doing specific jobs and now wanting to become actual being treated as people. And the fact that their leader was Mr. Peanut.
Yes.
I don't know what to say about that one. It
came out of left field on that one, but it worked perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But there was...
I mean, he did have a bag of mixed nuts helping him out around there and everything, so you can say it like that. Then you had Chris Pratt come in and he's like...
Talk about mixed nuts.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown, they play off of each other very well. Mm-hmm. When you look at the cast of this, it is absolutely amazing what they've gotten away with, but I feel like it was overblown. Like the story kind of got a little muddled, and it's not like, it's a good watch, but it's not the best thing the Russo brothers have done.
I mean, they did the movie, what is it now, a trilogy with Chris Hemsworth and as a mercenary too on Netflix. Yeah, I know. A lot of people forget that they did that. They had a contract with Netflix besides Chandra now.
Well, what was it? Wasn't the Russo brothers did The Gray Man?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that they've done. So, and I mean, they worked with Dan Harmon in the past doing like Rick and Morty. And
yes.
Well, there's been a lot of references from Rick and Morty about the Russo brothers stuff because they worked on Community with Dan Harmon. So there's been a lot of connections there. So now, out of the entire cast of like the Electric State, I have to give like a lot of credit to Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt because they did a great job with this, and working with a bunch of CGI robots and stuff was actually something that you got to sit there and be like, you know what? It's impressive what they did, and it's an alternate robot uprising as opposed to what we got from like The Matrix.
Exactly. And then you had people with these masks.
Yeah, they split their consciousness between their actual bodies and robot bodies to be able to go out and do stuff that had an avatar face, which it kind of reminded me of Ready Player One.
Yeah.
where they had like the avatars inside and they were all like the IOI employees, where they all just had their numbers, or as the people called them, the Sixers?
Yes.
Or Suxers, as they would refer to them in the book. So, yeah. Now, I
can't wait for Ready Player 2 when that's already been slated.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I have not read the book because I heard a lot of negative reviews about the book. So
I keep, like I say, I keep open-minded on it and everything.
I just don't know how I feel because Ready Player One was such a good book.
Yeah.
Even though it read like a series of Wikipedia pages. But then again, it was all about the history. The movie did a phenomenal job, and I don't know if they're going to be able to mix genres and stuff the same way and have like all the different characters from different universes together for a Ready Player 2. Now, there's been a lot of other things going on, so, you know, we got to talk Avengers Doomsday, and I'm going to pull up an image. Jimmy, you can't see it really because I don't have the second screen set up.
That's okay.
But I will go through the list of Avengers Doomsday cast. Now, we know we've got...
Hang on.
What's up?
I have that cast.
You've got the cast? Okay, well, but I've got an image that I pulled up, and it has the characters in their costumes and everything with the actors' names under them. So...
Oh, no.
Okay. Do I got to pause this or...
No. Okay. Worse.
What?
What? Wait. That's right. What did they say for Beyond the Spider-Verse? Spider-Man?
That it's pushed back?
2026?
2027?
Yup. Read between the lines, you pricks.
Listen, it's Sony, and Sony was not prepared for...
But however, they've moved up the
Spider-Man
Brand New Day to 2026.
Yeah. Okay. So, in the meantime, though, now...
Let's hit the list.
Okay, so, Avengers Doomsday cast that's been announced. We've got Thor, Chris Hemsworth will be back. Captain America, Anthony Mackie.
Yes.
Susan Storm, Vanessa Kirby. Which expected. Ant-Man, Paul Rudd. Yelena, Florence Pugh. Neymar, I do not even want to butcher this guy's name. Tenak Utera?
Tenak Ureta Mieja. Apologies.
Very sorry if we're... And then Shang-Chi, Simu Liu.
Yep.
So that's already stacked right there. I honestly feel like this is going to be an overblown cast.
But wait,
there's more. Because you've got Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan. You've got Black Panther, Letitia Wright. Thing, a.k.a. Ben Grimm.
Ivan Mos Backrack.
Thank you, because I was probably going to butcher that one. Beast, Kelsey Grammer.
Yes, that's right. We will say it again. Beast, Kelsey Grammer.
Yep. Sentry, Lewis Pullman. The fact that we're getting the Sentry, and this was already announced before Thunderbolts has come out, bothers me a little bit because it is kind of ruining certain elements.
They should have waited at least till June.
And they also, not only did they do this, because it's like, Avengers Doomsday isn't coming out till when?
2026?
Yeah, so 2026, 2027.
Yeah.
You know, when we're going to get a movie that far ahead, you can kind of leave a few surprises. But they went overblown with this one. But you've got Falcon, Danny Ramirez, and you got Johnny Storm, Joseph Quinn. So we know we've got the Fantastic Four already. So
Pedro Pascal himself.
Yeah, but haven't gotten there just yet. But Red Guardian, David Arbor. M'Baku, Winston Duke. Ghost, Hannah John Kamen, which I have to say ruins the Thunderbolts a little bit because you're kind of seeing who survives the Thunderbolts.
Basically.
We've got the return of Loki, Tom Hiddleston. Professor X is back as with Patrick Stewart. Magneto, Ian McKellen.
Sir Ian McKellen.
And Nightcrawler, Alan Cumming.
Yes, he's leaving Traders for this.
Yep. And then we're getting Mystique, Rebecca Romijn.
Not Jennifer Lawrence.
Nope.
Because she's
Cyclops, James Marsden. Gambit, Channing Tatum.
Yes.
Mr. Fantastic himself, Pedro Pascal. And Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Jr.
We're also getting Wyatt Russell. You forgot?
Well, no, he's not on this list.
Oh, you got it. You don't have that
the
list.
list.
I got this list.
Yeah. And so who else do you have on yours now?
That's it.
And Wyatt Russell?
Russell is U.S. agent.
U.S. agent?
You got Moss. You got everybody else. Robert Downey doing that little introduction. And everybody up the official list again.
Yeah, I have them on a different image, like where it's all everybody's photos are in black and white.
Yeah, but then they're also trying to put out a list of people they haven't announced yet that we know that they've said we are going to announce more.
Now we're seeing just from
yes, they did on the 26th at 10:26 p.m. Update: Marvel Studios isn't finished revealing the cast of Avengers Doomsday. What more plans to be announced? And this is from Marvel World, the official Marvel Studios Instagram page.
Now, if Marvel was smart, you would announce Tatiana Maslany. You would announce the Defenders. So you would see Daredevil. You would see Luke Cage. Unfortunately, I would still say recast Iron Fist, or at least give us the female Iron Fist that we got at the end of Iron Fist Season 2.
Yes.
She was actually a character I would prefer to see as Iron Fist more than Danny Rand. But that was also because I am Danny Rand, the immortal Iron Fist, defender of Kunlun. I defeated the dragon.
I'm another millionaire.
Thank you for keep going and giving us your entire backstory over and over again, which was the reason most people didn't like Iron Fist, other than the fact that his martial arts prowess wasn't even as good as Daredevil.
And they're also been announcing...
But we also should have Jessica Jones in this as well.
Not only that, I know. So we've been saying on that rumor, but there's also rumors of Mr. Evans, Mr. Renner, Mrs. Jost, and...
See, I don't think we're going to see Scarlett Johansson back.
But as Madam Hydra.
Yes, but at the same time, I don't think we'll see her back at all because of after...
the lawsuits. And they've also announced, the rumor mills have announced that Lou Ferrigno will be the maestro.
Could be interesting.
Yes.
But then there's also the rumors that we're going to see Scarlet Witch make her return. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of things that we've got that in Avengers Doomsday. And I have to say, there's so much going on that it feels a little bloated. Now, am I interested in this? Absolutely. But they're trying to capture the feeling of Endgame and Infinity War, and we're not getting Infinity War and Endgame.
Even apologize for that.
They're trying to apologize for Phase 4.
Phase 4, Phase 5, whatever the heck that is.
The thing is, I feel like they don't need to apologize for it. I feel like the thing was they went off they went off in a lot of directions. And I don't think there was an issue with the fact that they went off in different directions. Yeah. Now, the funny part is when you look at what happened, the Eternals were off on the sideline. So why could we not continue on with the Eternals off on the sideline? It was poorly marketed because you didn't know who they were. You didn't understand.
Unless you read the comics.
Not even that. Even if you read comics, you wouldn't know who they were because they were kept in the background. Now, you got the Black Knight that was introduced in there, and guess who else has been kind of pushed off to the side? Mahershala Ali as Blade, which we don't even know if he'll be back to come in.
Because they've said it's been canceled.
The only thing that we know Mahershala Ali is going to be, I guess, a version of Blade that is also Moon Knight for, what was it? I think Marvel Zombies or like one of the animated series.
And they're also rumoring Moon Knight to come into season 2 of Daredevil.
Which I would love to see Moon Knight involved. Like, there are so many of these characters that they can bring in. And unfortunately, Marvel got too ahead of themselves. And they were rushing through a lot of things. But
They also haven't mentioned Doctor Strange either.
Well, Doctor Strange we still got to see his movie because he's dealing with the multiverse. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see where all of these characters lay. And what I am hoping that we get from like the new Spider-Man, when that does come out, is they do finally introduce us to a Miles Morales. Yep. Give us a secondary Spider-Man that Sony might be willing to give to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and be like, hey, we have the rights to it, but we'll let you use him as long as we get the main Spider-Man, or vice versa. Because the thing is, if they were to bring in Miles Morales, they would have a live action Miles that they could use and capitalize on the success of Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, and eventually Beyond the Spider-Verse. Because unfortunately, look how long it's taking to get that production up and running. Now, there are a lot of characters that I would love to see and see it keep going. But it is feeling bloated. And the fact that the movie's going to be like 3 hours long, if not longer, I have to ask, since Disney owns Marvel, can we do a Fantasia and put an intermission in there?
Agreed.
You know,
can they finally learn how to do an intermission?
Like,
bring back the intermission to people.
If you're going to give us movies that are over 2 hours, we need an intermission, because sometimes you need more snacks. Sometimes you need a bathroom break.
I was going to say, sometimes you have to tinkle.
But that's the thing. It's, you know, the movie theaters are going, this is going to get people in to see the movie in the theaters. And the only reason they're going to go to see it in the theaters is they don't want it spoiled, because if it bombs, which we all know, when the movie doesn't do well in the theaters,
it comes out 30 days later.
It'll be on Amazon for rental. Mm-hmm. And then within a few more months, it'll be up on whatever platform it wants to be on. So whether it's Disney Plus or HBO, it'll just be there. So we've learned a very valuable lesson when it comes to the movie going like process nowadays. People don't want to spend the money, and a lot of people have commented on our TikTok videos and stuff that have come out from other episodes where the movie theater experience is not the same. And I want to thank everyone who's brought up the fact that, you know, the actual like etiquette of the movie theaters isn't the same. The pricing isn't the same. You know, we can't expect the pricing to stay the same, but at the same time, it's like we're not getting more. You're giving us a ton of videos before the movie starts, although it was hilarious because there were really no trailers before I got into the theater to go see the Spy Family Code White movie, which I walked in and I'm like, it took a few extra minutes. I'm like, oh, there's going to be trailers. I should be fine to get my seat. I go in, the movie's already started. And I was like, I had to wait until it became available for it being up on Crunchyroll to be able to watch, to see that it was like, this is the few minutes that I missed. It's a shame that we have to deal with things like that, but at the same time, this is what we have to put up with. We have to accept certain things, but Hollywood studios need to basically realize that if you want to keep the movie theater going experience going, it's time to bring back the intermission. Movies are going to keep getting longer, then we need a break in between the movies. You know, people brought up like, oh, well, there have been other movies that were longer than that from some of the examples I've used in the past. But yes, Gone with the Wind had an intermission. So movies...
Ten Commandments had an intermission.
If it was an older movie and it was longer than 2 hours... it had an intermission.
Funny Girl had an intermission.
And that's the thing, you know, Jimmy and I have studied movies. We have our background in it.
Yes.
So we know that films had intermissions. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with if you're going to bring back a gimmick, how about let's not worry about 3D glasses or like smell-o-vision or all our senses being...
smell-o-vision I wouldn't mind.
It depends on the movie.
Yes.
You know, I don't think you'd want to go and have smell-o-vision with WALL-E.
No.
Exactly. So, but at the same time, you know, you want to give us a 3D, 4D, 5D experience, great, whatever. No, what we need is an intermission.
Yeah.
If we're paying for a specific seat now because we're able to pay for, this is the seat I want to sit in for the movie.
You want us to pay for the seat so you know how many
seats
are going to be there, how many seats are going to be, asses are going to fill the seats.
Yep. Now, I need an intermission.
Exactly.
You know, not all of us can sit through a movie for over 3 hours without having to go to the bathroom.
I mean,
that's just a fact.
You want to give us all-you-can-eat popcorn at a good price? Fine. Give us an intermission. You want to give us the drinks the same way? Fine. Give us an intermission.
Or sell us a stadium buddy so that this way we can sit there and still pee while we're sitting in our seat.
You okay, honey? Yeah.
It's terrible, but you know what? That would be an option to get through these movies if they're going to be that long.
Exactly.
And then the studios should then have the theaters selling stadium buddies. You know, it's ridiculous.
If you have an opinion on a stadium buddy, please email us at
dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Jimmy, let's wrap this little discussion up because, you know, we could go on and on about this, but I feel like we've hit our stride at this point, and people are probably getting tired of us talking about the movie-going experience.
I do have something to plug on it.
We've got a cheap pop and plug. Let's go.
Yes, we do, because we talk. You'll laugh. Ben Stiller little blurb went viral on Movie Fan Pro and his game at Movie Hop. Both are Instagram pages, so please visit him and everything. And please try for the game. I have it, and it's amazing. He spoke it was hysterically how he plugged a bunch, and he brought up a bunch of the Ben Stiller movies in a conversation with me. And it made me even watch Heavyweights, which made me laugh because, yeah, you're right. He needed to change his character.
Yep, told you.
It got too annoying.
Told you.
Except for the father, which was too funny.
Oh, yeah, but all the kids in Heavyweights were great, though.
But him as his father.
Yeah, but all the kids were great in Heavyweights. So now, Jimmy, you want to give everybody your socials?
Yes, but not that social. You can reach me at... There we go. Snapchat, James SI0925. Instagram and Threads, James H_the4th, all in lowercase. Facebook, James Haynes the 4th. TikTok, James 0925, and Blue Sky, James 925. All right.
That's right. And you can find me, Blue Dragoon 13, on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. I said that one already. Twitch. And all of the links can be found in the link tree on any one of my bios. You can also find the video versions of the podcast on Blue Dragoon 13 YouTube channel. You can
next week.
Yeah, and the following week after you find these episodes on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, and Apple Podcast. But remember, if you can't wait to see our sparkling faces, all you have to do is check out the video version, which comes out immediately on Spotify and a week later on the YouTube channel.
And just so you even know, Spotify is a little link on your Roku or Amazon Fire Stick as well.
Yep. And you can also take part in the polls that I post on our page for Spotify. You can make sure you leave us a like, a comment, share the videos with people. Make sure you follow us on the Blue Dragoon 13 YouTube channel. Make sure you give us a review on Apple Podcast. It helps us out and gets reach for the show. And if you have any questions, or if you'd like to sponsor or even give us some movie recommendations or a show recommendation, you can do that very easily by emailing us at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com.
Speaking of show recommendations, I'm glad you brought it up. On Prime, Kevin Bacon. Yes, please save the bacon. Please save the bacon. We've lost hope. We lost all that other stuff. But please save the bacon. He has himself a new show, and it's called The Bondsman. But it's not what you're thinking.
I already know exactly where you're going with this. And that is actually supposed to be the show that I was going to recommend for the next episode of the Dragoon's Lair podcast. So you'll already know right now that we're going to be talking about The Bondsman next episode. You can also find me, Blue Dragoon 13, on Blue Sky, where it's so much nicer. And also, I downloaded and made sure I have Starlight Social, or Skylight Social, the social media platform that is a TikTok alternative that is connected with Blue Sky. So you're able to go and transfer your audience there. So if you would like, we'll be posting stuff on there as well. It's just going to take a little time because they're still in the early stages. But follow us there, get that grassroots going. And along with that, also, you can make sure you can still sign up for the Facebook page of the Dragoon's Lair podcast on Facebook. You can also make sure the page is still there, so you can always add us on the Dragoon's Lair podcast on Instagram, or you can sign up and follow Dragoon's Lair official on Instagram as well.
Also, special shout out, you can check my page. I had mentioned the last show I went to the New Jersey Chocolate Expo. Had an amazing time, got some nice pictures there, so please peruse around, enjoy. It's on Instagram and my Facebook page. Since it's post on one, it goes to the other.
Yep. So we've got a lot of stuff that's going to be coming down the pike, and we want you to enjoy each and every one of these episodes with us. So make sure that you turn on all notifications on the YouTube channel, but also have yourself subscribed on Spotify so you get notifications when each episode comes out, which it's typically every Sunday. Yep. We put out an episode.
Sunday.
So every other Sunday, you either get us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, or you can get us the following week on Sunday on YouTube. That's right, folks. Blue Dragoon 13 YouTube channel. So now that we've done all the shameless plugs and promotions that we can, and we want to thank everyone who's given us a shout out on their shows. So, Jimmy, do you have anything else before we go?
Before we go, and we will go dark at this as we go, let us all remember White Doc Holliday himself, Val Kilmer, the Goose. No, excuse me, he was Iceman.
That's right.
And it was tough, 65 years old.
Yep.
And everything. God bless him.
All the health issues still came back for Top Gun 2.
Yeah. So. And he still did Maverick. He still did Top Gun Maverick.
Yep.
With the issues. In a small role.
So let us all give a moment of silence for Val Kilmer. And I can't do that too much longer for that because that's a little too much dead air.
Yeah.
But we appreciate Val Kilmer, and our hearts go out to his family and friends. So we've loved your work. You know, you will always have a special place out there. I loved you as Iceman. You weren't my favorite Batman, but you were Iceman. Mm-hmm. And that's all that matters to me.
You were Doc Holliday to me, man.
Yep. And with that being said, we're going to bring this episode to a close. So thank you all for listening to the Dragoon's Lair podcast. Make sure you follow us on all of our socials, hit all the likes and the follows and do the things, and click the little things all over the place, you know, and notify everyone so that they can follow us along, share the videos, and make sure you leave comments. I do my best to actually respond to any comments that are left on any of our videos. And with that being said, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get out.
Bye.